Welcome back. I am so excited that you are here today because today's episode is inspired by my front yard. In my little flower bed, I have some river fern and we're going to have some summer fern today. All our pieces are using some kind of fern and a lot of Dollar Tree supplies. So sit right down, enjoy, and let's get started. Hey everybody, I'm Soozie and this is Soozie's Stuff. Welcome to station KDIY Channel 146. I'm so happy you're here. I would love it if you'd click and subscribe and then click the bell to be notified when I upload a new episode. And if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up or even a comment. So don't touch that dial. Let's go make some stuff. I want to show you just a couple of things that you're going to see throughout the episode before we get started. And the first is this gorgeous wrapping paper that I found at Dollar Tree. It goes perfect with our theme today, and I just love it. I also want to show you the beautiful fern that they have now at Dollar Tree. I started seeing it in the springtime and have seen it ever since. So get it while you can. It really is good quality, and it's a big giant full stem of fern. Now this next one though is I only found one of them. It really is beautiful, and I just love fern. I love foliage, and I do love flowers too, but there's something about the leaves that are so unique. I don't know, I just love all of that green color, and my favorite color is green. So that's what you're gonna see in the videos coming up. And coming up in my very first project, I'm going to be using some of the real fern that you saw at the beginning of the episode in my little planter. And I found this video on YouTube that shows how you can dry your flowers and your plants. And she's really good. She's from HGTV. I'm going to link it down below. And instead of doing it, it usually takes like 2 or 3 weeks to press flowers or press anything like that. You put it in some paper and then you put books on it and leave it for like 2 or 3 weeks. Well, she did it in the microwave, and it really pulls out all the moisture, which is what you want to do if you're going to frame it. And I really like this method. Although and you do it for like 30 seconds. So you put it in between paper towels, you do it 30 seconds, you check on it, and then you keep doing it to try to pull out as much moisture as you can. And so she did some really beautiful flowers that were super easy, and I may try that in another episode. And it just came out really pretty. It does sort of preserve them. But it does kind of change the color, and I love green so much that I really hated that it did that, but maybe it's the microwave. I'm going to try it both ways and we'll see what happens. But I do love it. I think it will be gorgeous. So now finally getting started on our very first video, our very first project. It's called the Real Fern Frame. And I'm using 4 of the gray frames that I just picked up at Dollar Tree. And I'm using my scrapbook paper book that I got at Walmart. Been using it a lot lately, and I think this will be really gorgeous with the frame and the green fern. So all I'm doing is just cutting off mostly the top of the fern. It's so pretty. And I'm just going to be placing it in there, and I am keeping the glass. And I'm just going to use my glue stick to put it all together. They came out beautiful. Love this part right here, the big reveal. Da, 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 da. Oh, wow. Isn't that gorgeous? And I do 4 of them. And I just kind of put them at different ways. One coming this way, one coming that way. And I know that I'm going to lose some of the green color. And I thought, well, I'm just pressing it this way. So, and they probably won't last forever, but I love it right now. It's gorgeous. And there they all are. And then you're going to see here the this is the next day. So you can see already that it's kind of drying up, but I just love it. I can change it out and I can change the scrapbook paper, but for now I am in love with these pictures. The big thing now on Kirkland's and Pottery Barn and some of the other places is you see a lot of the modern fern art. So I'm in love with it, and I hope that you are too and can grab some of these supplies and make yours today. And our next project is so incredibly easy and affordable. The Black Pebble Fern Vase. And it costs $3. I am using some of those beautiful smooth black pebbles and one of the little vases. Now you can get a taller one or whatever size that you like. You may already have one. And I'm going to be using this beautiful fern piece. I'm going to cut them off and just place them in there. I mean, this is so easy. Oh my goodness. You could do this with your eyes closed. Aren't those pebbles so beautiful? I haven't seen a lot of them, but they just put some new ones out, and I just think these are gorgeous. So I am just cutting off. I start out with 3, but I do use all 5 of them. So you're going to place those in there first, because once you put the rocks in, it's kind of hard to push them down in there. So put your fern in first. Aren't we having fern? Oh my gosh. Okay, and so then you just fill it right up with the pebbles. Get it in there. And this little jar or this little vase used exactly 1 package. So there you go. Easy. $3 right in front of you. And it's beautiful. It looks like a $10, $15 piece. So I'm just kind of fiddling with it, and look how cute. So now I decided I might as well use the other 2. What am I thinking? And so I'm looking at my cutters, and it has those little holes where you strip like wire. My dad taught me that years ago. And so it worked out great because it stripped off just a little bit, but kept the wire. So it worked perfectly, so I could stick them down in there. And so yeah, it worked great. So now I'm putting in all 5 of them. Gotta get it just right. You gotta pull them and twist them and put them in exactly the way you want. And it came out beautiful. Again. And ta-da! There it is. So easy and so high-end looking. I think that you're going to enjoy this. It's super easy, super cheap, and wow, it just is so pretty. You can keep this up all year round. So get all your supplies at Dollar Tree and make yours today. Moving right along, all these supplies are from Dollar Tree, and this one is called the Tall Wooden Fern Block. And I'm using 3 of the little crate thingies, the little mini ones, cube, a couple of the tower blocks, and just 1 of the fern pieces from that little floral pick. And so this is so easy as well. All I'm going to do is just take some Waverly chalk paint in white and just kind of roughly put it on there. I'm not going to be super perfect with putting it on. I kind of want to leave it with some of that little wooden showing through, like a little whitewash. And then I'm going to do the same to the block. And then I'm just going to add a daub or 2 of the silver lining paint. It's a very, very light gray, and I'm just going through all of it. It's kind of hard to see it there on the camera. The block can show it pretty well, but I just wanted to use a little bit on there to give it some depth. And now I'm just hot gluing the pieces together. Now, of course, you can use some wood glue, but this is kind of a rough surface, so the hot glue worked really well. And yeah, I love this, putting it together. And then so all we're gonna do is just place the fern leaf right on top. And so I'm just adding some hot glue right on the rib of the leaf, and I wanted to make sure it's in the center, so I kind of had to pull it over a little bit. But it just becomes instant decor. You can color the background any paint color that you like. I just thought the white would really make the green pop, and I love this. It is so easy. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, $5. And this looks extremely high end, and you could totally, resell this for a good $10, $15. Now, what I'm doing here is adding a couple of the tower blocks on there just to give it some stability, and it will be done in no time. So hot glue that right on, and we're just about done. Oh, I'm just having so much summer fern. And look how it turned out. Isn't it beautiful? I think it's going to be gorgeous on your shelf, anywhere you like, the bathroom. And it just came together so simple and very affordable. So I hope that you can find all these pieces. Surely you can find the wooden pieces. I always see those. And I hope that you're able to create yours today. All right, moving right along. My next one is called the newspaper fern frame. And I'm using 2 of these frames from Dollar Tree, and I don't use that paint, so disregard that. I'm using a few pieces of the fern from this little bunch here. And I'm using also a piece of scrap paper from that book again. Now, when I made this, I thought, the whole time I was making it, I thought it was newspaper, and that was silly of me because they're like little letters. They're like little postcards and letters. So it should be postcard fern frame instead of newspaper, but we're going with newspaper. Anyway, we are starting off by just taking this frame and painting it black with some, I think this is just some acrylic black paint. And now I've already cut out the little pieces, and I'm throwing them on to the frame backing, and I am going to be using the glass again, and then we're just going to place the fern leaves right on top. I love these fake leaves because I love green, and it does keep that color, and these look so realistic. I'm just so impressed with these. I love them, and this is how I put it together. There just are a million ways you can put them together, coming out the top, going out the side, just like I did with the first project. And so I'm kind of just placing them wherever. And I love how this came out. When you use the glass, it just presses them in there nicely. And here's the big reveal. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I love it. Look how gorgeous. And it looks so pretty with that scrap paper. You can change out any of the colors of the scrap paper that you like. I just love this newspaper. Letters and postcard backing. But this is done. Isn't it gorgeous and super high end? So modern looking, and you can just place them anywhere. You can use any color paint that you want to use for the frames. And I just love it. What do you think? It's super easy to put together, and I know that you can too. Have fun with it. This project is called the White Fern Block Frame. And in this video, you're probably going to laugh because there is a little mess up, but the mess up turns into a thing of beauty. So you'll see here coming up. I'm using those fern little pieces right there. And then I'm using this little roller paint kit from Dollar Tree. And then I have this frame. Now, when I got this frame, I didn't notice it, but it was cracked on the end, and I was so upset because that's the only one I had and I really wanted to use it. So we're just gonna pretend that it's not there because I just love it so much. So anyway, we're gonna use it. And so it comes with this little matting piece. And so I have to put on the little pieces that came off of it, you'll see. I was going to originally put some brown wrapping paper for the background, but when I turned it over, it already had sort of that color. So I'm just using the brown kind of paper that came with the frame. So these little styrofoam pieces kind of popped off, so I'm just hot gluing those back on. This is the little matte piece. And then we're going to get to painting. So I put that back together, and that's going to be the frame itself. So you see here, I was going to use the brown paper, but the paper from the frame was brown, so there was no need to do that. So what my original intention was to do was I was going to paint the fern piece, and then I wanted to stamp it on the brown paper. But as you see, it's not going to work out that great, but something else happens. Look at this little tray. It's so funny. Not very sturdy, but it really works great. I want to try this with some other things. So I'm taking the little roller, and I'm taking my little fern piece and placing it down. And I'm going to roll over it with the white paint. Took me just a few minutes to get situated, but I finally got it all ready, and here we go. So I'm rolling it with the white paint, not too much because I didn't want it to blotch, but we're getting ready and we're rolling it. Looks great. Okay, putting a little more here and there, and then I'm getting ready to stamp it on the paper. And yay! No, it did not work. But I'm like, why do I need to stamp it when look how gorgeous the white painted fern looks already? Why do I need to stamp it? So I was like, look how beautiful that is. We're going with that. And it even is more 3D than a stamp. So I did all three of them. I'm just laughing because it was just so funny to me. And so we're going to place that all together. So first I'm putting everything, laying it down, and kind of arranging it how I want it to be. And then it's just going to come together beautifully. I know you're going to love it. Sometimes you don't really use the glass when you're creating something. It's just fine without the glass, but the glass is really the secret because it pushes it down and gives it really that perfect look. So the glass is important on this project. And so now I'm getting it all put down and flipping it over and putting it together. And getting it ready for the big reveal. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh my goodness, I love it. Love it. Now, one thing about this frame is it did not have the little stand in the back, which again worked out perfectly because I used 2 of my little cubes, and I'm just going to place it right on top, hot glue that on, and I do use a few of the tower block pieces to secure it in the back. It does stay on just like this, but I didn't want it to topple over, and so we used the little tower block pieces. So we've got the pieces going on, and as soon as I hot glue them on, I'm going to paint them black so they blend in and look like a very high quality piece. We're not noticing that chipped corner. No, we're not. And these are done. And let's get ready for the beautiful display. Here it is. What do you think? I am in love with this piece. How beautiful. And I love that it looks like a perfect stamp, don't you think? So create yours. You could put some flowers in it, some pressed flowers I think would be beautiful. But just always have fun with your projects. I'm so glad you're having some summer fern with me today. And this one is called the wrapping paper fern frame. So you saw this at the beginning. I just had to use it in one of my projects today. So I'm using that, a little bit of burlap, some of the fern pieces there that you see, and 2 of the beautiful white frames from Dollar Tree. This is a super easy project to put together. I had already just cut the pieces for the frame, and now I'm cutting just a little bit of the burlap to add to the center. You can see right up there to the top, I've already created one, so the reveal is not a secret anymore. And so I'm just cutting the second one, getting it ready. And what I do with the little burlap piece is I take my tweezers and just kind of pull off a couple of them to give it that really rustic edge. And then all I have to do is add the fern right on top. I just tacked down the burlap a little bit, but the glass here is again the secret because it presses everything together. Actually though, you wouldn't need I guess the glass on this one because everything is kind of in place, but I think the glass does make it a little bit more high end, and so I just glued that right on top, and the glass comes next and presses it all nicely together. And here we go, pushing it right in and closing it up, and there you go. Ta-da! Another successful piece. How cute to add a little bit of color to your decor. And here's how they look. I just love that wrapping paper. I hope that you can find it. It really is a beautiful summer colors. It certainly will brighten up any room that you place these beautiful fern frames. And for our very last project today, it's called You Grow Girl. And so I'm going to be using one of these galvanized signs from Dollar Tree. I haven't seen these before, so to me they're brand new. I'm going to be using these rub-on stickers, but I don't use that fern sticker, don't use that, or the wooden letters. So I changed my mind right in midstream. But I am going to be using some more of the fern pieces that I just cut off. So all I'm going to do is hot glue the fern pieces to the sign. Now that I have those arranged, I'm just adding some hot glue to the sort of the middle rib of it. And I had tried some super glue, but that just did not work. It was just too, I don't know, that galvanized sign is too smooth, but the hot glue worked just great. And so I just used all of the hot glue to place those on. Now I'm going to get ready to add the the little letters, I'm going to be rubbing those on. So this piece right here is not really an original. I got my idea from a piece that I already have. I guess I kind of duped myself. And I had picked it up at Hobby Lobby a few years ago. It's on a little wooden frame. And I loved it so much, I'm like, let's just recreate that. So that's where my inspiration came from. And then I just used some different pieces, you know, just recreated it in my own way. And let me tell you, those rub-on letters really stick. If you make a mistake, it will take you forever to scratch it off. I did make one little mistake, but I did get it off. But I tell you, it sticks. So make sure when you place those on the galvanized stuff, that's the place that you want it to go. So I also grabbed some of this Dollar Tree ribbon. I've never used it before. I thought it was such pretty colors, and it goes perfectly with this little project. So there you have it. We are complete. You grow, girl. This would be perfect for a friend that's a gardener or just loves plants, and they can hang it anywhere they like, or you can put it in a little frame stand just like this. Such a fun little whimsical piece, and I hope that you enjoy this, and it sure makes you smile, because you grow, girl. Thanks for sticking around with me today and having some summer fern with me. I hope you love all these pieces and can find your supplies at Dollar Tree. We sure did have a lot of fern and we had a lot of fun too. So go out in your backyard, or maybe when you're on a run or a walk, that you get inspired by some of the beautiful flowers and foliage that's out there. I just love it. It's such a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. This is my backyard. It's kind of coming back together after all that snow, but I'm enjoying it so much. We've had a lot of good rain, and I had a little sunflower peek out, so it sure did make my day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and even a comment. I would love to hear from you. I'll see you next time on Soozie's Stuff, KDIY Channel 146. Bye, everybody.